The Grand Canyon is a natural wonder that has captivated people for centuries. It's a place of immense beauty and breathtaking vistas, a symbol of the power and majesty of nature. But behind the stunning views and serene landscapes lies a dark secret that few people know about. Something terrifying is happening at the Grand Canyon, and it threatens to change everything we know about this iconic destination. Join us as we dive deep into the mystery and explore the shocking truth behind this strange and sinister phenomenon. What proof of an ancient culture might the Grand Canyon's remains offer? To get to the bottom of things, young G.E. Kincaid was an avid outdoorsman, explorer, and archaeologist. In 1863, he entered the world in the remote Idaho wilderness. He had been working for the Smithsonian Institute, presumably under the direction of a professor called S.A. Jordan, and conducting fieldwork in the American West for at least 30 years. In 1909, he embarked on a journey down the Colorado River in a wooden skiff, not the best vehicle for doing so. Near the Green River in Wyoming, Kincaid set off on his trek down the Colorado River in search of minerals. He went where others had gone before him, into the main canyon and its secondary streams, like the Little Colorado River, in search of gold. At 2,000 feet above the riverbed, he saw a site in Marble Canyon that had stains in the sedimentary rock when he first came there in 1908. This was near the junction of the Colorado and Little Colorado Rivers. Geographers estimated that Kincaid lay at about the 56th mile mark of the river. Chapter: Was there any cave which contained treasure? Despite the extreme difficulties of hauling both his camera and his glass plates up the 2,000-foot height, Kincaid did it. The Arizona Gazette reported on April 9, 1909, that Kincaid had found the cave's entrance. His discovery inside the cave has been called the most important archaeological find in North America. According to reports, the cave is so massive that it may be called an underground castle. Rumor had claimed that hundreds of rooms inside were crammed with mummies and what looked to be ancient Egyptian treasures. He mentioned a room called the Cross Hall, which had a Buddha-like god carved onto the walls, sitting in a lotus pose with a flower in each hand. Kincaid also mentioned vases or urns of copper and gold, enameled and glazed utensils, granaries loaded with seed, burial chambers filled with sarcophagi, and numerous more wonders. The story continues with Kincaid leaving the location and heading to Yuma, Arizona. Not long after it was sent to them, the Arizona Gazette published the essay. The Smithsonian is rumored to be sending a 30-person team to investigate and catalog the remarkable find, although this has not been confirmed. There were thereafter no more news articles on the discovery. When questioned, Smithsonian officials said they had no connection to either Professor S.A. Jordan or Kincaid. Word on the street has it that the federal government bought up the land around the Marble Canyon site and declared it a no-go zone for tourists. As a metaphor, the door was slammed shut on the whole conversation. Many people, however, claim to know the location of the entrance, which is commonly known as Kincaids Door. Merely by doing a simple Google search for Grand Canyon Egyptian artifacts or a similar term, you will find pages claiming that the narrative is a hoax, that the story is true, that the cave was claimed by a secret organization, or that the cave is home to reptilian humanoids according to David Icke. Conspiracy theories and suppositions of a cover-up abound. Do a search on Google for Grand Canyon Egyptian artifacts or something similar. You might begin your research of the story by reading a passage from Regina Meredith's Open Minds on Gaia. Our special guest, Jerry Wills, fills us in on Kincaids Discovery in the Grand Canyon. The fact that these objects had no precedence in the past was even more incredible. These weren't Native American artifacts, as could have been expected. Rather, they resembled something from Egypt or Tibet. Is it possible that the ancient Egyptian civilization flourished there? If so, please elaborate on how they arrived at that location. Even though the Arizona Gazette's 1909 account made a lot of buzz, further research has called its accuracy into question. To give just one example, the Smithsonian Institution has no documentation of either scientists or their findings and flatly denies the existence of any Egyptian antiquities in either North or South America. Chapter: after the ancient city was found. The Arizona Gazette, a reputable publication, printed a story speculating that an enormous, gorgeous, and entirely underground Egyptian metropolis lay hidden in the Grand Canyon. And then, nothing. There were no follow-ups, articles, or news coverage of this in any other publications. Suddenly, all of the information was gone. One has to ponder the point of making such a video. Was it just another video made without permission or legal standing? Can you think of anything else? If anything seems off, it probably isn't. He made the decision to learn as much as possible about this topic, and he did so for more than 8 years. Scientists now consider the oldest archaeological discovery in the United States and one of the most valuable in the world to be G.E. Kincaids' discovery of the great underground citadel of the Grand Canyon during his trip from Green River, Wyoming, down Colorado in a wooden boat to Yuma several months ago. He brought the latest news of the progress of the explorations to the city yesterday. Archaeologists from the Smithsonian Institute, which is funding the expeditions, have allegedly made discoveries that almost conclusively prove that the race that inhabited this mysterious cavern, hewn in solid rock by human hands, was of Oriental origin, possibly from Egypt, and possibly tracing back to Ramses. If the translation of hieroglyphic engraved tablets backs up their claims, the mystery of the earliest inhabitants of North America, their ancient arts, who they were, and where they came from, will be solved. There will be a historical link between Egypt and the Nile, as well as Arizona and Colorado, that reaches back to times that would push even a fiction writer's imagination to its limits. Chapter: An extensive investigation. The Smithsonian Institute is presently conducting the most exhaustive investigations, which will continue until the final link in the chain is formed, under the guidance of Professor S.A. Jordan. The lengthy main tube has been explored down almost a mile below, roughly 1,480 feet below the surface, to reveal another huge room from which radiate dozens of passages, like the spokes of a wheel. Several hundred chambers have been uncovered, accessible by passages that branch off the main route, one of which has been investigated for 854 feet and another for 634 feet. Recent discoveries include objects that have never been identified as local to this nation, and they very certainly originated in the Orient. War weapons and sharp-edged copper implements as hard as steel demonstrate the great level of civilization attained by these alien people. The scientists are so fascinated that plans are being made to outfit the camp for lengthy research, and the force will be augmented to 30 or 40 people. Chapter: Egypt's Secret City, Conspiracy or Reality? A single story in the Arizona Gazette is credited with sparking this conspiracy notion. There were a bunch of explorers in the story. Scientists from the Smithsonian Institution supposedly uncovered a vast underground cave system in 1909. Researchers speculated that as many as 50,000 people could find a comfortable home in the caves. Also, there were several treasures such as statues, weapons, seeds, and more strewn about the tunnels. The objects gave the impression of being Tibetan or Egyptian in origin, and they were in no way comparable to the items the Native Americans had. No one could help but listen intently to the tale being told. The Grand Canyon is home to an ancient Egyptian metropolis, according to one urban legend. The Smithsonian Institution has no documentation or artifacts relating to any of the explorers mentioned in the article. Some individuals believe it was purely a publicity stunt by the Gazette, while others hold that the Smithsonian is suppressing the story in order to make it conform to the accepted historical canon. There are those who believe the caverns are a door to the fourth dimension, while others who believe they are a forbidding realm that is currently off limits to anyone. Chapter: Human remains to date back thousands of years have been discovered. Picture yourself in the Paleo-Indian era, the oldest period of human occupation we know about. You're surrounded by nomadic tribes of people who get by on wild plants and the meat of large animals, like mountain goats, ground sloths, and bison. Throughout your travels, you discover that the Grand Canyon is the sole known Paleo-Indian site in the Southwest. This is a rather unusual location, yet it provides valuable insight into the lives of long-ago civilizations. A few thousand years later, during the Archaic era, the descendants of the Paleo-Indians are adjusting to the new conditions they found themselves in. As their territory grows, they must adapt their hunting methods to cover more ground, and they now make seasonal migrations across the landscape to do so. Equipment is upgraded to include atlatls for hurling darts and tools made from chipped stones, campsites, rock art panels, caves, rock shelters, hearths or fire pits, tool grinding and processing areas, chapter, Grand Canyon on Google Maps. Conspiracy theorists have concluded that an old entryway discovered in the Grand Canyon by utilizing Google Earth is proof that aliens exist. One can be fooled by the grainy Google Earth images showing a structure in the Grand Canyon that resembles a doorway, thinking that it is just a collection of rocks placed in a certain way, but conspiracy theorists know better. What you're looking at is undeniable evidence that extraterrestrials have visited Earth and left behind entrances dug into the ground. Somewhere in the Grand Canyon, some 250 miles east of Las Vegas, is a mystery place that appears to have been too carefully crafted to be a natural rock structure. It's easy to miss in the midst of the Grand Canyon's rocks, darkness, and vegetation, but once you find it, you can't look away. It's exciting to speculate about what might be behind that enigmatic door, but we'll never know for sure. Author Brad Olson stated he was blown away, and many believers in an alien invasion conspiracies point to it as proof that extraterrestrials would arrive on Earth through underground tunnels. You can sort of understand what they mean, but in the end, a doorway is a doorway, even if some of them think the antique doorway appears more ancient Egyptian than alien. So people, thanks for watching this video. If you found this information interesting, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content like this.